Okay, now we can remove that old clamp that I had to break off, and this is basically a big bag. Looking down in here, everything looks clean. There is, you know, just a regular gasoline, dirt, and things that are usually in a gas tank from the pumps, but I can't get all that out with all the fuel in there, so the new filter will have to do the job. So we'll put that in this. Now there's a tab right here which matches. Let's get this fuel line out of the way, which matches in here. So it's going to be sprung up, but when you push it down, it stays into this area, as you can see there. So we'll do that. Here's the new ring. Again, remember there is a little arrow that faces the arrow here on the tank, so when you tighten it all the way down, eventually, so that it keeps everything clean, and that you will keep tightening it, and then there's a range that shows you max and min, but really that's it. Get this ring on there, make sure this guy is pushed down when you're doing it so that you know the proper location. There's those little tabs, so push this down. And like I said, I'm not going to put it in all the way right away because I want to be able to take this out if I have any issues with the pump. So I'll do a test run first. So one trick is to go counterclockwise first until you feel the snap, so you know everything is lining up, and then go clockwise. So there we go. So the reason that is so difficult is because there's another snap ring under there that gets compressed, and that, to try and get your thread on there and get that compressed, is part of the issue. So all right, I think that's going to be good for now to test things, and then after I test things, I will torque it all the way down. Alright, so now we'll put this fuel line on, and it's pretty snug fit for that. So, alright, and then we'll put the clip in. Do not forget to do this without the clip, because there is so much pressure in here that you will definitely have an issue. Here we go, because that clip holds the line back from popping out. Now we'll put power to it and make sure the sending unit is working and everything else is working. So we'll put that on. Alright, and I have a big garage with open doors, so I'm going to start this car with my remote start. Might take a few times to prime and then start. There we go. So far so good. Sending unit is working. I do have a check engine light, and I bet that's because there was no fuel pressure before. Try it again. Check engine light is gone. It has fuel pressure, no issues. So we're good to go. I can button it up and close everything back up. Okay, so I took off the plug, I ran the car till it died again, and then now I'm going to take off the clip, because one thing I don't want to do is try to tighten this cover with the fuel line in place. If I slip or something happens, that fuel line is going to basically crack off. So now, again, like last time, just get a rag over this, because even though you ran it, and always be wearing protective eyewear, even though you ran it, it's going to have fuel in there. And guess what? The fuel may act as a lubricant too for this cover to get tightened up. So, alright, we got that out of the way. Alright. Again, we had this in the pocket where it's supposed to be. So that is really the extent of where the fuel line should be, so it's not loose and flopping around. Clean all this. Okay, get this rag out of the way. And when you put it here, all the fuel that comes in will drain down to the floor. So it's not as big of a deal. Now, again, you want to look for that pointer to make its way here to know it's tight enough. Tighten it up as much as you can by hand. Okay, first of all, I want to make sure that is snug in there. So continue as much as you can by hand. And you don't want this to spin either when you're trying to torque things down. That's basically all I can do by hand right now. It's tight, but it's got a long ways to go, and that's why it was so tough to get out before. So now this tool should help me get it off a lot, get it on a lot easier than trying to take it off. So adjusting it, there are no torque specifications or anything like that for these. It's basically tighten it till you get it to the general area it's supposed to be in. Push down. Okay, keep moving it. Don't try to, for me, I'm using a good persuasion bar. You saw that moved on me, right? So now I have to go back. There, it snapped in place. So this is probably going to be the issue for me right now. How do I get that to go without moving, or stay there without moving? Okay guys, I was having a hard time getting this ring on here, and what was happening was, this is the ring that's supposed to help me keep the pump in place while I torque it down, and the threads were all dirty. And then notice this tab and this tab right here. Well, in the tank they moved a little bit, so you can see in the tank there's a groove there, and I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's see here if I can see it. Yep, there's a groove right by the fuel line where it goes, and then of course the markings that tell you max, min for torquing. And so I just went in there and cleaned everything out, and hopefully now that ring will stay in the tabs designated for it. It's just a lot of moving parts. It's very plasticky, not the greatest design. I don't know why Toyota did this, but man, I wish they would have kept the older system with the screws and everything. Alright, I'm going to try and button this back up. Hopefully I won't have as many issues. Like I said, this is going to go in there like that. This tab here, and again, it's an open ring, so you know the problems with that. This is how they designed it. It didn't crack on me or anything. and then that's supposed to hold it in place. So we got a lot of moving parts. The pump's trying to push out with the springs. This tab is supposed to stay in here. This ring is supposed to go over that. It's a mess, but cleaning everything up, taking your time is key here. All right, I'll do that and then show you guys how it ends up. Okay guys, I already put it on. If you can see, it is in the range, a little over minimum, kind of almost to the end. I tried everything I could. I can't make it budge. I tried a very big lever arm and all that, and you know, it's in that range of the min to max, and it's not going to go anywhere. Everything looks like it's seated well, so I'm going to start buttoning this up. Again, it's going to be fuel line with the clip, and now you can see the fuel line goes on a lot easier and where it should go, and the clip is going to go there, and then we'll put this cover on. What I'll do is I'll heat up the rubber material that's on this thing and then put it down, and it's kind of like a tarish type of material that's tacky, and it'll hold it down and we won't get any road moisture or grime in here. So all right, I'm gonna try and button everything back up and go from there.